Hey story lovers. If you're into mystery, suspense, and unexpected twists, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe, relax, and let's dive into today's story. Isabella Montague had always lived in a world of privilege. A millionaire heiress, she was no stranger to wealth, luxury, and endless opportunities. But behind the polished walls of her penthouse and the flashing lights of her socialite life, Isabella was crumbling. Her seemingly perfect existence was built on expectations from her family, from society, from herself. And when the weight of it all became too much to bear, she sought comfort in a dark place: drugs. One evening, tired of the glitzy parties and pressurized gatherings, Isabella found herself wandering through the unfamiliar streets of the city, looking for a place to escape. She stumbled upon a small, dimly lit bar tucked away in an alley, far from the elite nightlife she was accustomed to. The buzz of voices and clinking glasses felt like a distant hum, a contrast to the cold, high-society events that surrounded her life. As she sat at the bar, nursing a drink she didn't quite taste, her eyes caught the figure of a young man cleaning the bar counter. His name was Raphael. He was just a waiter, a regular guy in a regular job, but there was something about him that caught her attention. His eyes, warm and welcoming, met hers for a moment. The connection was instant, even if brief. Raphael had seen his fair share of the city's wealthy, but Isabella stood out. She looked lost in thought, her face pale and distant, her eyes clouded by something deeper. As he served her a drink, he couldn't help but wonder what lay beneath the surface of this elegant woman. "Anything else I can get you?" he asked, his voice gentle. Isabella met his gaze, then quickly averted it. "No, just a moment of peace," she said softly, her voice barely audible over the music. Raphael nodded, sensing that there was more to her than met the eye. She wasn't just another rich girl seeking distraction, she was searching for something real. Over the next few weeks, Isabella returned to the bar again and again, drawn to Raphael's presence. She found comfort in his quiet strength, his ability to listen without judgment. While her high-society friends partied in exclusive clubs, Isabella felt more at home in the small, humble bar where Raphael worked. Every visit brought her a little closer to him, and a little further away from the world she had once known. But her addiction to drugs was growing stronger. At first, it had been a way to numb the pain, to escape the pressure of her family and her future. But soon, it became an insidious habit, creeping into her life without her even realizing it. Every night, the drugs took her further from reality, and every morning, the shame and regret crept back in. Raphael noticed the change in her, but he was too kind to confront her directly. He began to worry, but each time he tried to talk to her, she pushed him away, retreating into the darkness of her addiction. She'd smile faintly, tell him she was fine, and order another drink, hoping to drown the weight of her feelings. One night, as she sat at the bar, her hands shaking, she barely noticed when she spilled her drink. Raphael quickly rushed over, concern etched across his face. "Isabella, are you okay?" he asked gently. She glanced up at him, her eyes bloodshot. "I'm fine," she replied quickly, but the words felt hollow even to her. "I don't need your pity, Raphael." He frowned, feeling a pang of helplessness. "It's not pity," he said softly. "It's concern. You're hurting yourself." Isabella's smile faltered. "You don't understand. You don't know what it's like." Raphael's heart sank as he watched her retreat back into her shell. But he couldn't stop himself from caring, and that feeling grew stronger every day. The tension between them reached a breaking point one fateful night. Isabella, under the influence of drugs, became more volatile, more erratic. She lashed out at Raphael, pushing him away, afraid that if he got too close, he would see the cracks in her perfect facade. "I told you to stay away from me," she shouted, her voice shaking with emotion. "You can't save me, Raphael. No one can." Raphael stood there, stunned by her outburst. "I never said I could save you," he replied, his voice steady but filled with pain. "But I'm here for you. Whether you like it or not." Isabella turned away from him, tears welling up in her eyes. She felt like she was suffocating, trapped in a cycle she couldn't escape. "I don't want your pity," she snapped again, her words sharp. "I'm not pitying you, Isabella. I'm trying to help you. But I can't do that if you keep pushing me away," Raphael said, his frustration rising. She stood up suddenly, almost knocking over the chair. "Then leave. Just leave me alone." Raphael's heart broke as he watched her walk away, disappearing into the night. He knew she was pushing him away, but it didn't make the pain any easier to bear. He knew he had to make a choice, walk away and protect his own heart, or stay and fight for the woman he had fallen in love with. Raphael couldn't bring himself to walk away. Even when Isabella pushed him, even when she rejected his help, he knew he had to be there for her. He started showing up at the bar every night, quietly watching over her from a distance. He refused to give up on her, no matter how much she tried to distance herself. One day, when she was at her lowest, he approached her again. She was sitting alone at a table, staring blankly at her drink. "Isabella, please, let me help you," he said softly. She met his gaze, her eyes filled with pain and uncertainty. "Why? Why do you care so much?" "Because I love you," Raphael confessed, his voice barely above a whisper. Isabella froze, her breath catching in her throat. "You love me?" He nodded, his heart in his throat. "Yes. I've loved you from the moment we met." For the first time in months, Isabella let her guard down. The walls she had built around herself began to crumble, and for the first time, she allowed herself to believe that maybe, just maybe, she wasn't beyond saving. With Raphael by her side, Isabella began the painful journey of recovery. It wasn't easy. There were setbacks, days when she felt like giving up. But Raphael was there, always supporting her, always reminding her that she was worth saving. Months passed, and Isabella slowly began to heal. With Raphael's love and unwavering support, she broke free from the grip of her addiction. They spent every day together, rebuilding their relationship and their lives. And through it all, their bond grew stronger. One evening, as they sat in the same bar where they had first met, Raphael took her hand in his. "Isabella," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "You've been through so much, but look at you now. You're stronger than you think." Isabella smiled softly, her eyes bright with hope. "And I wouldn't have made it without you." Raphael leaned in and kissed her gently, his heart full of love and gratitude. They knew their journey was far from over, but together, they had overcome the darkest parts of their past. Their love story, once filled with pain and despair, had become one of healing and redemption. They had found each other in the most unexpected of places, and together, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.